There is a paper envelope kept in the glass archive cabinet on the first floor of the museum. It is white, with a thick band of black printed around its edges. Inside the envelope is a card with the same black border. Printed in German in a fine, curly-cued script is the following message. Heartfelt thanks for your warm participation in the passing of my solely loved brother, Friedrich Nietzsche. In profound grief, Elisabeth Förster Nietzsche, Weimar, September 1900. Actually, in profound grief is my translation of the German in tiefen Schmerz, which could equally mean deep pain, anguish, distress, hurt, or sorrow, a whole constellation of feelings that accompany the death of a loved one. Ernest Thiel received Friedrich Nietzsche's death mask as an expression of thanks for his financial support of the Nietzsche archive. The mask was made by the German artist Kurt Stöving in collaboration with the diplomat and writer Harry Graf Kessler, apparently Elisabeth Förster Nietzsche's second choice of artists for the job. Like many death masks, this plaster imprint fashioned from Nietzsche's dead face was used by artists to later produce portraits of the great philosopher, ostensibly portraits in which he appears to be living, translations of a dead face into a living face. Your glance unfolds a question.
In Blicken Frogareier.
The mask is supposed to tell us something, but it is not clear what that is. On one hand, it claims some kind of authority, for the mask is formed through direct contact with Nietzsche's body. Indeed, it is Nietzsche's face itself that sculpted the material. Stöving and Kessler can be seen perhaps as merely the midwives of the mask's creation. So is Nietzsche the artist here? Is this mask his final creative act? On the other hand, the open eyes, irisless, pupilless, the mouth muted by an abstracted mound of plaster and moustache, the ears obliterated in papery folds, seem like stylistic decisions made by Stöving and Kessler, leaving voids for the viewer to fill in with our own imagination. Is this mask the truth, or is it interpretation? Surely, though, this mask should be considered more of a scientific artifact than an artistic one. For while it serves as some document of Nietzsche's final, deathly countenance, the mask offers little as to the vast mysteries of life and death. The size and dimensions of the mask may be true to the size and dimensions of Nietzsche's anatomy. But the size of death, the scale of death, is not measurable, neither in the dimensions or contours of this mask, nor in the molecules of plaster, the fibers of gauze, or the traces of wax that make up this object. I hear the rustle of wings. I know this guest. He tugs hard at the door.
Her vingslag susa, jag känner den just, han plär i dörren rymma.
In contrast, it is the artworks that fill the rest of the room that convey a vast spectrum of emotions: anxiety, fear, dread, der tiefe Schmerz that death inspires. These images, morbid and bleak, woodcuts and lithographs by the artist Edvard Munch, are positioned to face the mask, entering into direct dialogue with this symbol of Nietzsche's death. They encircle the mask like members of a funeral party, like the recipients of Elisabeth Förster Nietzsche's black-rimmed card. A coffin held up by a cascade of corpses. 100-fold hands reaching to grab a woman. A self-portrait in which Munch imagines his own mortality, only his face and a skeletal arm emerging from the inky black obscurity. Angel women, demon women, vampire women. In this lugubrious setting, even Munch's iconic kiss appears to be two figures embracing to comfort a shared grief, rather than an amorous liaison. And then there is the lithograph of Munch's Scream. It is an image perhaps now drained of meaning by the reproduction and mainstreaming of its better-known, full-color counterpart. But if you gaze into the disturbing, grimacing face of the figure on the bridge, the world around her warping and undulating in hallucinogenic despair, if you imagine the wailing scream that would issue from his terrible, impossible oval of a mouth, if you read Munch's words at the bottom of the image, Ich füllte das große Geschrei durch die Natur, I felt the great shriek through nature. Maybe by synthesizing these images and colors and words, maybe then you can begin to grasp the vast, unutterable pain and fear that death brings. Only a view of the setting sun over water, a view that could easily be seen here from the window behind Nietzsche's mask, provides relief and reflection in this collection of misery and violence. I kiss your pallid mouth. My heart is bursting. I founder on a bottomless sea. A tone rings out across the desolate water like the tolling of a bell in the night.
Klockan